Hey everyone, Tom Downey here, back at it again with another in-depth episode of the Cowboys Report. Today, we're diving deep into two key players for the Dallas Cowboys, quarterback Dak Prescott and tight end Jake Ferguson. I've got some fresh stats and metrics that I think will really excite Cowboys fans, but at the same time, they might leave you scratching your head or even a bit frustrated. These numbers paint a picture that's both encouraging and concerning, depending on how you look at it. We'll break it all down, analyze what it means for the team, and explore the implications moving forward. But before we jump into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about our channel real quick. We're just 130 subscribers away from hitting that massive milestone of 226,000 subs here on the Cowboys Report. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Seriously, now's the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. When you sub, you get access to free daily Cowboys content. That's breakdowns, analysis, watch parties, live shows, and so much more. We cover everything from game recaps to player spotlights, draft previews, free agency rumors, and beyond. Don't miss out on any of it. Subscribe right now, turn on those notifications, and join the Cowboys Report family. Alright, let's get into it. First up, I want to introduce a metric that might sound a bit nerdy, but trust me, it's worth understanding because it gives us a clearer picture of player performance. It's called adjusted EPA per play. EPA stands for expected points added, which is basically a way to measure how much a play contributes to a team's scoring potential. The raw EPA looks at the outcome of each play. Did it increase or decrease the expected points? But the adjusted version, pioneered by folks like Ben Baldwin, goes a step further. It tries to account for factors outside the quarterback's control, like the supporting cast's performance. Think about it this way. Imagine you're Dak Prescott, and you throw a quick screen pass to a receiver. The receiver catches it cleanly but then breaks multiple tackles and turns it into a 70-yard touchdown. In raw EPA, that play looks amazing for Dak because the team scores big. But really, most of the credit should go to the receiver for the yards after catch, YAC. On the flip side, suppose Dak drops a perfect dime to a wide-open receiver in the red zone, but the ball bounces off the receiver's hands and gets intercepted. Raw EPA dings Dak hard for that turnover, even though it wasn't his fault. It was a drop by the receiver. Dak Prescott sits at 12th in the raw EPA per play rankings. That's solid, but not elite. However, when we switch to the adjusted version, the one that accounts for those supporting cast variables, Dak skyrockets to the top. He's number one with a plus 0.35 adjusted EPA per play. To put that in perspective, over a 10-play drive, that's adding a significant chunk of expected points purely from Dak's decision-making and execution. Sam Darnold is right behind him, tied in some metrics, followed by Goff, Jackson, and yes, even Jones again. What does this tell us? On an individual level, Dak is playing some of the best football of his career right now. It's not just this one metric backing it up, the eye test confirms it too. If you've been watching the games, you've seen him making tight window throws under pressure. According to Pro Football Focus, PFF, Dak is second in overall quarterback grade this season, just behind Sam Darnold. He was actually trailing Matthew Stafford after Week 2, but after Week 3, those rankings flipped. Dak's PFF grade reflects his accuracy, decision-making, and big-time plays. Speaking of big-time throws, those are the high-difficulty passes into tight coverage or downfield that require pinpoint accuracy. Dak leads the league with more than anyone else by a margin of 3. That's impressive, especially considering some of those throws have been dropped by receivers, which could have turned into even bigger gains. Another key stat, completion percentage over expected, CPOE. This measures how much better or worse a quarterback's actual completion rate is compared to what we'd expect based on factors like down and distance, throw distance, coverage schemes, and receiver separation. Despite the Cowboys dealing with a league-high number of drops this season, including one that directly led to an interception, Dak is second in CPOE. Normally, drops tank this metric, pushing it into negative territory, but Dak's precision has kept it positive and elite. He's also tied for third in pressure-to-sack rate, meaning he's avoiding sacks better than most under duress. The Cowboys' offensive line has had its struggles, especially with injuries, but Dak isn't letting pressures turn into drive-killing sacks as often as others. We'll circle back to why this is a double-edged sword later, but for now, it's clear, Dak is balling out. So, with all that in mind, I want you to grade Dak Prescott's performance this season so far. Give him an A, B, C, D, or F in the comments below. Be honest, factor in the stats, the eye test, and the team's results. What do you think? Drop your grade and maybe explain why in the comments section of this video. I love reading your takes and interacting with you all. Now, here's where the excitement turns into concern. The flip side of Dak playing at such a high level is that the Cowboys are still sitting at 1-2 with a dismal point differential. They've been outscored significantly in losses, and even their win against the Giants required a comeback effort. The defense has been atrocious, ranking near the bottom in yards allowed, points allowed, and third down conversions. The run defense, in particular, has been gashed repeatedly, allowing opponents to control the clock and keep Dak off the field. The offense isn't without blame either. Drops have plagued the receivers, the running game has been inconsistent despite some bright spots, and now injuries are piling up. CeeDee Lamb, the number 1 wide receiver, is sidelined, and 2 starters on the offensive line are out. This puts even more pressure on Dak to be Superman every game. The problem is, no quarterback, not even the greats like Mahomes or Brady in their prime, can sustain top 5 play week in and week out without support. It's not sustainable. If the Cowboys need Dak to have his absolute A game just to stay competitive, that's a recipe for disaster. We've seen this before with other teams. When the quarterback has to carry everything, mistakes creep in, pressing happens, and the whole operation unravels.